What is going on, y'all? Josh here, and my bearded brother from another mother, Mr. Mike Gormley. You know him as Nauti. I know him as Mike. Some of y'all know him as Mike too. But welcome in, guys. And for some of you folks, I'm new to your face, and Mike is not. And some of you guys are new to the Peer-to-Peer Travel Chats podcast. And just want to talk a little bit about the format before we get going. So normally on YouTube, when you have a live, we interact with the chat. In this case, we will not be interacting with the chat. The moderators will, and they'll answer any questions or they will star those. However, this is going to be a free talk between Mike and I, and because it is formatted for podcasts. And with that, if you have not subscribed to the Peer-to-Peer Travel Chats podcast on Spotify, please do so. So that is the public announcement. And what's going on with you, my friend? So, you know, we haven't been cruising, me and Chastity, but you have been doing a lot. So where you been?
Oh yeah, man. I've been here, there. I've been a little bit of everywhere. Recently, I've done the Margaritaville Islander, and I've done the brand new Utopia of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. That was my first ever Royal Caribbean cruise. So those are the two that I've done since the last time we've been on the show. The last show we did together was the Jubilee, man. So
yeah,
it's been a little while. It's crazy. I was thinking before we pushed that live button, I was looking at the top where it says season 2, episode 3, and I'm like, we're 8 months into the year. We should have already been at 8 episodes. But life is crazy, man. Life's catching up to everybody.
It is.
You know, things happen. But you got some big travels coming up real soon, which is nice. So you'll have some more cruising going on here.
You know us, man. We're going to get after it. And we haven't been, our channel has not been live like it has been in the past. And it never will be. It's never going to go live like it was in the past ever again. We may, do once a month or something like that. But we just been focusing on us. And we've been doing some different traveling, so we've went to New Mexico out of White Sands. We've been out to Atlanta and spent some time out there. We've been going to a lot of races, and we've just been focusing on couples travel more than cruising specific.
Specific, right?
Yeah, but we've got some big ones coming up. So Chastity and I are celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. We just celebrated our 26th year together. Yeah, it's crazy that we got here, but
it's crazy to think that I'm 35, man. So I was only 9 years old.
Yeah, I know, bro. It is crazy. But yeah, I mean, the higher power brought us through it all, man. And he works in mysterious ways, and God bless my children for having to put up with me, and God bless them for having a great mother and me for having a great wife. Yeah, she's my best friend, my partner in crime, love to travel with her, would rather be with her than anybody else. On that note, for our 25th anniversary, we are going to go for 5 days in London. We're staying on the River Thames, just a short hop and skip over to Westminster Abbey, where we will be renewing our vows and getting blessed by the chaplain there.
That's awesome.
We're going to get 25th anniversary tattoos to memorize it in blood and ink, and then we'll go down and we'll jump on the Sun Princess for 16 days transatlantic back to Fort Lauderdale.
Back to the States. That's sick, man. That's gonna be an epic trip, man. You should. Yeah. I'm shocked. You didn't tell me any of that before we jumped in here. That's pretty sick. Going to be able to do that whole thing at Westminster Abbey. That's gonna be an experience in itself, right?
I didn't have it all.
I know that's cool. I know you've talked about that a couple times. I know you guys have a few matching tats that you guys got recently.
Yeah, so. we got new ink since the last podcast. So obviously travel. Based, and Chas has one matching, and then she went ahead and matched up and got this, which is our anniversary in Roman numerals, and then this is our little saying. We say how much to each other, and then we give a number. So nice. We love each other. I know it's disgusting for some, but it is what
Yeah,
it
man, it
is.
is what it is. Everyone has their own happiness, right? And that's that's part of your happiness. But it's cool that you're going to be doing all that stuff over there. Hopefully, the crazy things that are going on over there right now die down a little bit. So for anybody that's over there listening, man, hopefully y'all stay safe with everything going on over there. But
Yeah, for sure.
you're going to enjoy that Sun Princess, man. That's going to be an epic trip. That's just the trip alone, man. The ship alone is great. But on that note, man, it's a little disappointing, right? Like they're talking about that whole Park 19 thing not even being open. It's just going to be non-existent on that ship anymore. So I know when I was on it back in April, it was still not open. They were waiting on approval to get it open, and it's never going to open. So now we're not even going to know what that Park 19 is all about on that ship, which is a little disappointing if you have kids like my age. That was one big selling point with Princess for that new ship, right? Like Princess never really catered too much towards the younger demographic of children. And with this ship, this was the first ship in the whole fleet that actually catered more towards kids than anything. And that whole thing's not even going to be open.
I'm very excited about it because, I'm head over heels with the Jubilee, and this is the same frame, I guess, for lack of a better term, the same vessel.
Kind of,
but
it's very different. It's very different than the Jubilee.
Yeah, the interior is designed different, but it's the same. It's the same vessel, and then the inside they designed it different for the Princess flavor of having less people on board. And
I mean, it's still it's not 100% the same design outside, inside, or around as the XL class ships are. Sphere class it's a new design of it on its own, but it gives you that same little feel when it comes to certain areas of the ship, right? Like when you're in the atrium in that dome area, the sphere area on the side of the ship, you'll feel a little bit like you're in that Grand Central area that you would be on like Mardi Gras Jubilee or anything like that.
I'm excited.
But it's completely different. You're going to enjoy it, man. It's a great ship. I highly recommend if you can make reservations to Spellbound, man, make them reservations to Spellbound. That is definitely a nice little thing to do, man. But there's cruise lines out there putting things out way better than that at the moment.
Oh yeah,
I just experienced one of those, so
it's crazy, man. And we'll I don't want to spoil too much because our next podcast, I would like for you to walk us through the Sun Princess.
Let's do it, bro.
What's that?
I said, let's do it. It's just going to have to happen a lot quicker because y'all leave in 40-some days.
We'll have to do another. We'll have to do one shortly on the heels of this, and we'll talk through it. But yeah, man. So I don't know. Do you want to start with Utopia or do you want to start with Margaritaville?
No, let's start with Margaritaville since that one was first, right? Like that one. Yeah. I did that one back in June. I was on the second sailing out of the inaugural, what they call the inaugural sailing after the Shakedown Media Cruise. And I can tell you right now, man, they're going in the right direction, right? Like they started with that Paradise. I was on the Paradise doing that little 2-day out of West Palm when that came out, and that wasn't that bad. And then they caught a lot of heat because they needed to upgrade things. They needed to upgrade carpets and shows and food and all that stuff. And I think they listened to everybody that complained about a lot of things, man. When the Islander came out and the decor, the food, the entertainment, the staff, everything was awesome. But you couldn't even tell at times, man, like it was a 24-year-old cruise ship that you couldn't even tell was a 24-year-old cruise ship. It was absolutely insane.
It looked like it did not suck. I mean, and the reason I say that is because, and I hate it a little bit because some creators do this, travel creators do this with MSC. They try to do that gotcha thing. And, worst cruise I've ever been on,
they're not wrong when it comes to certain things, right? Like for people to say like I've went on the worst rated cruise line in America, that's not a lie because Margaritaville at the time was rated the worst cruise line
and that's okay.
Yeah. So that's actual information. Yeah. But to go out there and be like, oh, I went on this worst cruise ever and then it was great. I mean, come on, man. Like it's tough to beat, right? So I had zero problems. The room I had was awesome. The service I had was great. The decor, the drinks, the casino, everything was awesome, man. It was on par for one of those like top line casinos. And they changed a lot because Margaritaville, for those of you who don't know, before the whole COVID thing, Margaritaville used to be Bahamas Paradise. and Bahamas Paradise ended up going belly up. Margaritaville came in and partnered with them, and then they were having horrible times with everything. So they actually got rid of the whole Bahamas Paradise crew. Now it's all Margaritaville. And the guy that is the head guy over there used to work for one of the big four. So they got a guy in there now that's been behind the wheel of a big four cruise line. I don't know which cruise line it was. Not a lot of people do. I didn't care to dig into the research far enough to know who it is. But they now have a guy in there that knows what to do, and it's running very well.
Yeah.
The cruise director is great. Everything is just awesome.
And you got to understand the brand, right? So, we're Margaritaville fans of all the Margaritaville universe, if you will. And that's what they do. They go in and they find places that were previous all-inclusives. They buy them and they spruce them up and they make them better. And they have resorts like that all over the Bahamas. And now they're doing it with the cruise lines. And they're only going to get better because, we've all had, it's a chain kind of thing, right? And we've all had our bad experiences, but the majority of experiences you have are pretty consistent and good, right? Right. Yeah. I mean, I would never, we go to Destin and we're looking for a place to eat. We're going to go to Margaritaville down in Harbor Walk. It's there. Right. We know it's going to be good. We know we're going to have a good time. And then we're going to get value for our dollar.
That's what I try and tell everybody else too, right? Like, you make the whole experience yourself. You're the one that has to go into it with an open mind or a closed mind. If you're going to go into it with a closed mind thinking this is going to be the worst thing you've ever done, then clearly at the end of it, it's going to be the worst thing you've ever done because you've pounded it into your brain so much that it was going to be that bad. But if you go into things with an open mind and open expectations, knowing that this isn't something they really do, they usually cater towards the land-based resort style vacation. But if you go into it with an open mind, you will come out of that experience completely different than how you felt going into it negatively, right? Like, if you go into something negative, it's going to come out negative. Be positive, go into it with an open mind, enjoy yourself, make the best of your cruise. And at the end of the day, the only person that can control how you enjoy your cruise is you. You are the one that allows the little things to go off the Richter scale and turn into something worse. So enjoy it. Live life to the fullest and just be glad that you're out on the seas and just enjoy the day.
At the end of your cruise, did you feel like you didn't get your money's worth?
No, not at all.
And I think for the majority of the folks that follow us, right, it's like the value for your dollar, because we all work hard for it. Did you get the value for the dollar you spent? I don't know that I've ever been on a cruise that I didn't. But and I've told people about Margaritaville. They're like, well, what about this Margaritaville at sea thing? I'm like, you know what? If you've never sailed before, it's a great introductory cruise, because if you don't like sailing, you're not going to pay a lot for it, but you're going to have a good experience.
For sure. So, and that's the good thing, right? Like, we all know if you take all the cruise lines, like the big cruise lines, you put them in a pot, there's two of them that you can really pull out that are going to be your most cost-effective cruise lines to date, right? And before Margaritaville even came into the picture, we're talking Carnival and MSC. Yeah. They're the top two that are going to give you that low price, good number that you'd be happy paying for a vacation if you're new to cruising. Now, Margaritaville enters the picture, and now you have 3 cruise lines that you can choose from. But not only do you have 3 cruise lines that you can choose from, you have one that gives you multiple options at 3, 4, 5 days. And now you have one that gives you options at 4 and 5 day cruises that go to places like Key West and Progresso and are going to expand their itinerary in 2025. We're not just talking a cruise line that's going to go to the same stops every couple days. Their itineraries are changing into 2025.
Yeah.
So with them being able to change things around and go different places, the Paradise out of West Palm is going to start offering 5-day voyages as well. I mean, you can't really shake a stick at it, right? When you're able to get on a cruise ship in a balcony for 2 people for under $1,000 for 5 days. That's not.
And even for season cruisers, right? So if you're looking at a good side by side, hey, I'm going to go down. I'm going to jump on cruise ship in Miami, or well, they're not selling out there, but you know what
West
I'm saying,
Palm
right?
Tampa, right?
Yeah, so I can go for 3 or 4 days,
right?
And on the front end, maybe spend another day in port, jump on another cruise line, go for 7 more days, and that's a lot cheaper than booking a 11, 12-day cruise.
Absolutely. And the thing I used to tell people when they only had the one with Margaritaville out of West Palm was, look at what you're going to pay for a night in Miami.
Oh, Lord.
Take your hotel, add your hotel cost in, add the food, add the entertainment for a night in Miami, for one 24-hour period in Miami, and beat that price of a cruise ship for 2 days. You're not going to be able to do it.
Not going to do it.
And the good thing about the cruise ship is you got your room, you got your board, you got your food, you got your entertainment, all for this one low price. And you're not even going to be touching the amount that you would spend for a hotel in Miami for the night. It's just not possible. So I used to tell people all the time, if you're coming in for a couple of days just to enjoy Miami, hop on the cruise. It's 2 days. You can go to the Bahamas and spend less money and have an even better time than you would just by coming to Miami.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm completely on board with that. And, you know, Chastity and I were looking at that as we were trying to fill our 24, and, you know, 24 got full for us without asking for it. So, but Margaritaville at sea was definitely on our radar for this year until life happened. But, and that's, you know, one of the things we thought about was, you know, 3 day. Then when the Islander came out, maybe a 5 day, do a side by side with one of the other cruise lines. That way we knock out a couple of ships and we get to see some different stuff. And
out of Tampa, we got Royal, Carnival, Margaritaville, I think. And I think they're trying to get a Norwegian ship out of here, but I'm not 100% sure on all that. But I know that there's 3 of them at the moment here. MSC used to sail out of here, man, but they got rid of that ship after the pandemic. So they're not going out of Tampa anymore.
But so, you know, I think so the rooms, from what I've seen, they seem to be, I mean, they're cruise rooms, right? You're not gonna get something super extravagant with a value cruise line, but they do look unique, and they got that Margaritaville feel.
I wouldn't go that far, man, because they're probably some of the most unique rooms I've seen on a cruise ship in a long time, right? Like, you go into a cruise ship room, and this is just a blanket statement. So for those of you listening, don't hate me for saying this, because it's not really what I mean, but it is what I mean. When you go into a cruise ship room, whether it's inside or an ocean view or a balcony, every piece of furniture is cookie cutter. Okay? It's all the same. The bed's the same. The couch is the same. The dressers are the same. Your wardrobes, it's all the same. You go into the bathroom, it's all the same. Well, with Margaritaville, they added individual touches to each cabin, right? So no matter if there's 10 suites, each one of those suites are different. The signature suites are different, and it's just a different feel. Like, if I stayed in the aft corner, Grand Terrace corner suite, the way that's set up on Margaritaville is completely different than how Carnival set it up on a Carnival ship. So there was places on that ship where I was like, man, I don't even feel like I'm on a cruise ship. Like, I feel like this is a land-based resort. Like, this is that island vibe type of room that I would expect at some 5-star resort in Montego Bay somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I really enjoyed the decor of the ship. I enjoyed the rooms. I enjoyed the furniture. The suites had a whole mini bar set up if you wanted it. We're talking like little pint bottles of Buffalo Trace bourbon, bro. Like, I was geeking out. So, and Buffalo Trace is hard to find down here in Florida. Like, if you don't get it,
find it anywhere
find
now.
It's really hard to come by. So when they got like little pint bottles, it's cool, man, because you don't see a lot of cruise lines doing things like that anymore. Like, when I started cruising, you used to be able to go into a room and you'd have a full mini bar set up. It would just be like going to a resort in Vegas, right? Each thing had an additional price to it. Each thing had its own price. You went and had this resort style vibe, and now it's on a cruise ship. So they're bringing that land-based style, you know, resort vibe onto the ship, and they're doing a good job with it, man. So far, so good, right? Like, I've enjoyed it, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed it. You got some people that are out there saying, you know, stuff about it it's not worth it, this, that, and the third. But I mean, again, we're talking, I went away for 5 days for less than $700, so you can't really argue with it. And I've had steakhouse dining, I had drinks while I was on the ship, specialty restaurants, and you really can't argue with it. Then now, I'm not saying everything was perfect. There were some things I didn't like. But it's all middle school stuff. Like, it's all small stuff. It's all things that are in my control, right? So we all know Carnival does that. additional entree for $5 after your second entree, right?
Yeah.
Well, and Margaritaville does it after the first entree, and it's $7. So they charge you $7 for a second serving. But again, it's I can eat one plate and then go up to the buffet if I still wanted to eat something else. You know what I mean?
I can't eat at Wendy's for $7 anymore. They've turned the 4 for $4 into like 4 for $6 and 4 for $7 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So how were the ports of call?
Ports of call were great. Cozumel's always a great little stop, man. We all love Cozumel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody loves Cozumel.
That's one of the best little spots to hit, man. I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter how many times I've been there, I can go there over and over again. I can find something to do in Cozumel every time that will be different. And then we went to Key West, man. I enjoy Key West. You know, it gives you that. It kept up with it, right? Like my whole thing when I booked this cruise was I wanted to live in Jimmy's shoes for the 5 days. Like that was my goal, right? So live Jimmy's life for 5 days was the goal. So when I booked that cruise, the first thing I did was started like my research on where Jimmy spent most of the time in Key West. And the place he spent most of his time in Key West was Captain Tony's. Captain Tony's bar is where he spent most of his time. It's where he played a lot of music. That's where, you know, he enjoyed some laughs and drinks and all that stuff. So I planned out like my day. Like I wanted to go to DJ's Clam Shack. I know I wanted to get a lobster roll from there. So I did that. I wanted to get key lime pie. I did that. And then I wanted to go and just enjoy time at Captain Tony's. And when I tell you that is an awesome bar to check out, bro, if you're ever in the Keys, definitely check out Captain Tony's because it takes you back in time. Like this guy, Tony, was the mayor of the Keys, and he was like the guy that everybody came to for the story. So if you know the one Jimmy Buffett song, it's like where I went down to Captain Tony's to get out of the heat. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about Captain Tony's bar to get some stories. And there's some great articles and pictures of Jimmy Buffett on the wall with Captain Tony and some signed portraits and things like that are up on the wall. But it takes you back to that, like, that old school bar vibe that you would find if you went to like that honky tonk type town. You had ladies' bras on the roof, signed, autographed, dollar bills all over the place. And it was just that old school beach bar.
Those are the places you love to find. And, you know, we're not talking about Galveston right now, but there was a place in Galveston called the Poop Deck. And same kind of thing, you know, that place has been there, and probably the same staff has been there since like 75, you know,
right.
Open air bar, bikers pulling up, everybody's friendly, but I mean, a little bit of a rough crowd, you know, like you probably don't want to take grandma in there, but I mean, they still got a cigarette machine, you know, I mean, it's like, And those are for me, those are the cool places. I love finding spots like that.
Finding spots like that, right? And that's the thing about Captain Tony's, right? Like it's the oldest bar in Florida. It is literally, if you look online, it is literally registered and in the system with the state of Florida as the oldest bar in Florida.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was the original location for the original Sloppy Joe's. So I know there's a lot of people that love going to Sloppy Joe's down there. It was the original location for that, but it was just cool to be able to just, again, live in Jimmy's shoes for a day, right? Like, I was a kid growing up, man. I'm only 35, but my dad, like classic rock, Jimmy Buffett, Parrot Head, like that's how it was in the house. So when I got the opportunity after Jimmy Buffett passed away to be able to hop on this new cruise ship, like that was my whole goal the whole time, was to just live that island style life, right? Like island pace, grab a drink, grab some food, enjoy, relax, and just live that laid back, chilled life. And the great thing about Margaritaville, man, is it gives you that vibe from the time you get on the ship to the time you get off the ship. So,
I mean, you haven't made it to 40 yet, but you know, when I made it to 40, I was like, you know, a pirate looks at 40. Yes, I am a pirate. 200 years too late, man.
That's it.
Just missed it.
Just right, bro. Like, and it makes me want to just go back and just chill, man. It's crazy, bro. Like the vibe's completely different. And I know people get like that 3-day vibe where it's like a booze cruise type thing. That's not at all how this cruise felt.
No. And
it felt like a great cruise, man. And I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you what, I can rank the cheeseburger in Paradise up against Guy's Burger, man. And I think Margaritaville takes Guy's Burgers and knocks it out the park.
Let me tell you something. The last 2 Carnival cruises I've been on, I did not have a Guy's Burger during the entire cruise.
Really?
I can do without it, man. Especially on Jubilee when you got big chicken. Shoot.
Yeah, I love big chicken. You get me
Yeah.
big chicken all day long. I will do big chicken all day long.
So how was the food? So I mean, you
The-
said the cheeseburger in paradise, but you know,
oh, dude,
that was another.
when
I've heard the food is phenomenal on
when
Margaritaville.
I tell people that I enjoy cheeseburger in paradise more than Guy's Burgers, they're like, no, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way a new cruise line is going to beat Guy's Burgers. Listen, I don't know what they do. I don't know where the staff comes from. Nobody knows all that. But I can tell you that burger was a lot better than Guy's Burgers. And I know Carnival don't do it, but they cook a medium rare burger on the Islander, so I was all right with that too.
Oh, there you go.
And the food was better.
So here's my big question.
I didn't have any issues with the food.
I am a volcano nachos guy. If I go to Margaritaville, I'm getting volcano nachos. Can I get volcano nachos on the ship?
On the ship, absolutely. Island Tiki Grill, or whatever it is. Tiki Grill or Island Eats, one of the ones. Now it is an additional charge. It's not included, but it's a little upcharge, but it's not much. I think I did the conch fritters and the shrimp when I was there, and I think it was like $14.
Come on now.
$14
I love
for
some
conch fritters and peel and eat shrimp.
You get some conch fritters on the ship?
Yes, sir, on the cruise ship. Yep.
That's where it's at,
in the adults only area after the ship.
No other cruise line are you going to get conch fritters.
Nope, not a single one. Not a single one. And I think
you hit it on the you hit it on the head, man. Like the vibe. If you look at it from a Kenny Chesney, Jimmy Buffett,
Florida,
I'm going to cruise the Bahamas,
West,
like
cruising the Bahamas, Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee, just laid back, chilling vibe. That
I live in Florida.
100% what it is.
I live in Florida. I've got a connection with a dude who's got a boat, and we're just going to go down and hop the islands. You're just doing it in a bigger scale, you know?
Yeah.
And if you put yourself in that mindset,
right? Like if you live in Florida and you want to feel that retired life, that's the way to do it. Like if you want to feel what it's like to live a retired life, go to Margaritaville because it's laid back. And let me tell you, dude, like the staff is some of the greatest staff, Josh. Like we're talking the Zoltana, who is the cruise director. She comes over highly rated from another cruise line in Australia, and her company never thought she would have left, but she did, and she left for Margaritaville. Like she was with the other cruise line for many, many years, and she chose to leave and branch out and do something different, and she absolutely loves it. The entertainment's awesome. The shows are awesome. I have nothing negative to say. Again, the only negatives I have are like little things that bothered me. They're not deal breakers, right? Like it's paying extra for an extra entree if you wanted it, or things like that. Some of the things that are up charges, it just makes no sense. Yeah. But every cruise line isn't starting to nickel and dime anymore. You're going to find a nickel and diming process with every cruise line.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So hey, man, on the another thing, and you talked about it. But not in depth. So the shows, how are the venues for the shows? And you said the shows are good. So like, what can you expect from the shows, and what can you expect from a venue on board a Margaritaville at Sea ship? You've been on both, right? You've been on the smaller ship.
I've been on both. I've been on both of the Margaritaville ships. The Islander is definitely better. The Stars on the Water Theater is where you'll absolutely find some great like playlist production style shows. Very interactive with the crowd. They involve the crowd in a lot of things. Live music throughout the whole ship. You got that carnival style atrium, right, with that atrium bar. So you definitely have some live music that happens in there. Karaoke always popping on that ship. There was always some form of karaoke going on. But there was always live entertainment. Everywhere you went, you always found live entertainment, whether it was a country band, rock and roll, island style music, steel drums, things like that.
That's awesome.
It's just like all your other cruise lines, man. And it's just this. I call it the mom and pop cruise line, right? Because it's only two ships. You know what I mean? So it's the mom and pop cruise line, the little engine that could, and they're doing it, man. They're doing their thing.
Yeah. But one other thing that I just thought about. So you talked about in the rooms, you could get some Buffalo Trace. So does that mean that at the bars, they're a little bit more boutique and you can get some different
You can get
different
some
liquors
better,
and whiskeys.
some top quality liquors and whiskeys at the bar.
Yeah.
You can definitely get some top quality stuff, and the tax and duty free. If you want to buy some alcohol and bring it home, it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah,
I got 3
that's
bottles of Margaritaville tequila for $10 a bottle.
So
you really can't beat that price either.
The other thing, and we've got a lot of parents, right, with young kids that listen to us, and so what do you think about families?
100%. Bring your kids.
Margaritaville?
Bring your kids. 100% family friendly. I got a ship tour out there that shows you all the kid centers, every single kid center, from toddlers all the way up to teens, all the way up to your young adolescent adults, 18, 17, 18. Absolutely kid friendly, always doing some type of kid events, whether that's like boat races or things like that. So I'd 100% agree that it's kid friendly. Some stuff happens after hours, after the kiddies go to bed, but it's not like in your face. You got to find things like that. So,
yeah.
Like club and all that stuff, but
I assumed it's family friendly, just as far as like the kids being able to find activities to do, and it sounds like they've covered the basis for all of that.
And they got multiple kids clubs. I think there's like 4 of them on the ship. So
yeah, so we're halfway through. So it's time to. All right, let's
shift gears.
Let's shift gears to the one that everybody is talking about right now, the second largest ship on the sea, Utopia.
I hate to say it, man, but I know why people are loyal to Royal, dude. And I laugh at it because I can see that Brian and Julie are in the chat over here on the channel, and
earmuffs.
They asked me like, could you see yourself going on another Royal cruise? And I am like, yeah, I can see and don't hold me to this because I know I'm not going to do it, but I can see myself only cruising Royal the rest of my life. So, but I'm not going to. Don't hold me to that one. Don't put my back against the wall and make me do it. Listen,
it's amazing. Man, yeah, I mean, our favorite ship is still Symphony, right? So
it is 100% a different animal. If you've never done Royal, I highly suggest doing Royal. Yeah. Again, I understand why people become loyal to Royal, and I also understand why some people don't like Royal Caribbean. Like, I get it from both sides of the spectrum, right? Like, I get why. But I can honestly tell you that after the 7 days I spent on that ship, I was completely mind blown at venues. I was taken by surprise when it came to certain things. I get it. I 100% get it. And we're not talking just like food. Like, we're talking entertainment. Like, we're talking next level entertainment that you did not think could exist on a cruise ship. And I honestly don't know how they do it. I don't know where they find these people, but I'm telling you, bro, it's literally top-notch quality entertainment, dude.
Well, there's a reason why you pay a little bit of a premium, and you do get what you pay for. And
and like with Royal, you can see it right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, we sailed with them on Symphony for our anniversary a couple years ago, and we sailed with Mike and Betsy. And amazing. Symphony of the Seas, still our favorite ship. There's a couple of ships nipping at its heels, but I mean,
get on Utopia. Get on Utopia, and Symphony of the Seas will be on the bottom of your list.
So, look, man, one thing I got to ask, and I put, Chastity and I put a short out the other day about this, and we didn't get any flack, which was kind of surprising, but I think the stupidest specialty dining on the high seas is on Utopia. Why do I want to go sit in a rail car while I'm sailing on the ocean?
Bro, let me let you know a little secret. You're going to get some flack here. It is the best
Harry Potter knockoff.
And you can call it a Harry Potter knockoff all you want.
Polar Express knockoff.
You can call it a Polar Express knockoff all you want. And we'll touch base on that, right? Because I literally had a conversation with the artist who created the storylines for that dinner. It is the best specialty dining I have ever done in 40 plus cruises. And
Yeah.
I've done Spellbound on Princess, and I recommend it you go see Spellbound. But I
Yeah.
can promise you, bro, it is legit the best dining experience I've had. And I say experience because I'm not going to say the food was the greatest food, right? Like, you could probably find some stuff in the main dining room that was a little bit better off the menu than what they had there. But the experience in itself was a great experience.
Yeah.
It's a whole show. There's performers that come out throughout the meal. There's windows. You feel like you're on a legit train. And I'll agree. Harry Potter knockoff, I would be there in a heartbeat if it was a Harry Potter knockoff. I even talked to the guy who created the storyline and developed all the stuff for it. And I told him, I said, man, you can literally do like a Harry Potter Hogwarts. You can what else did I tell him? I said, you could do a Polar Express around Christmas time. I said, there's so many different things that you can do with this that would cater to so many people, right? And he was like, well, we're doing like a wine tasting through Napa Valley. So you would try different wines as like the train goes through Napa Valley. We're going to do a Scotch tasting through Scotland, and you'll get different Scotches as we train ride through Scotland. It's different. It's one of its kind. It's the first time they got it on a cruise ship, and it is absolutely one of the best experiences. I geeked out the whole time. I managed to get a reservation. It was probably I would just have to say, go and try it. Okay?
I'm being a little facetious, because our favorite specialty dining experience was at Wonderland on Symphony, which same kind of thing, right? You got the Mad Hatter. The whole thing is super themed, from the cocktails to the food. So I can only imagine.
Yeah. And again, the menu is not the greatest. You could probably find certain things off the menu. But if you've seen like some of the pictures I posted in the group, dude, like that dessert I had, that cigar, like that thing legit looked like a straight cigar that you would find in an old Western parlor, just sitting there while the guy's drinking his glass of whiskey. And it's just this cool immersive experience. And the cool thing about it is the ship holds so many people.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 cars. Each car holds 24 per night. So you're literally one of 48 people or 48 seatings that can dine in that car per day. On a 3-day cruise, you're talking less than 100 seatings.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like thousands of people on a ship, and only a few handful of people can actually enjoy that experience.
So let me ask you. So one of the things that everyone gets concerned about when you get on a mega ship, and the last mega ship we sailed on was the Jubilee, and other than a few choke points, that ship was easy to get around. It felt smaller than it actually was. How was the Utopia in that department?
There was a few choke points. You had a few spots along the ship that you'd either have to wait for somebody to go through a door, get out of a door, or something like that. But I can tell you right now, comparing it to like the Jubilee or the Mardi Gras celebration, I had way more choke points on XL class ships than I had this Oasis ship.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I we saw the same thing on, let's say on Symphony. There were very few places where it was, you had to figure out how to get one place to another,
I didn't have no issues like that, man. It was super easy to get around the whole ship. Whether that was from the top decks to the lower decks, port side to starboard side, no issues to get around. I enjoy it, man, because this is one of the only, other than the Icon, this is the only other ship in the Royal Fleet that has the destination elevators.
Oh, yeah.
So you literally push the button and it'll tell you what elevator to go stand in front of. And then that'll be the elevator that takes you to your destination, right? So for a ship of that size, I was surprised that they only had 2 elevator banks. So you only had an elevator bank forward and forward and aft, but you had 12 elevators per bank. So, you had 6 on one side, 6 on the other side. So you had 6 port, 6 starboard, forward and aft. So you had 24 elevators throughout the whole ship, and I really didn't have to wait for an elevator that long. There was a couple times you had to wait a little bit, maybe a minute tops, that you waited on an elevator. But again, you're talking a destination elevator. This ain't one that just stops at every floor. So it's definitely something different, man. But if you can catch them elevator shows, they're the best. I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, with the piano guy.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah,
bro.
that's one of the coolest things. Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people out there that hate me right now. They probably didn't realize it was me, but I'm gonna just let y'all know that it was me. I'm the guy that pushed every single floor until I got that elevator letter, and I literally had it recording, man. And I walked in, and he was like, "Oh, you were waiting for me. You were ready for me." I was like, "Man, listen, you don't know, bro. I've been chasing you down for the last 5 days just to get to experience this." So, being able to get into an elevator with a guy playing a piano, that was pretty cool.
The destination elevator thing is really cool. So we have yet to experience it on a cruise ship. I mean, you got the smart elevators on Jubilee, but this is a little different.
It's a little different, but it's very similar.
Yeah, we had those.
The smart elevators tell you where to go to, but this one here, the destination elevators are so nice, man, because you know you're only stopping at a certain amount of floors.
Yeah, we had that. We just stayed in the Starling in Atlanta, and they have the destination elevator. So you hit your floor, and it says, "Hey, go to elevator A." You jump on there, takes you right where you need to go. It's
it's a great thing, man. And for those of you who don't know what the elevator show is, on Royal they do this thing where the piano player sets up a piano inside the elevator and he rides up and down the elevator, and he changes elevators throughout the 2 hours he's doing it. But the cool thing about it is he's playing all these songs about getting out of the elevator, and I didn't realize that until like after the first like 5 minutes, because after we were riding up and down, I rode up and down with him for like 3-4 minutes, and then he literally looked over at me and he's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm going wherever you're going. That is literally the only place I'm going." And then as I'm watching the footage, it's every song is literally about getting out of the elevator. It's like Hit the Road, Jack, or Beat It. I was like, man, that's pretty clever.
Now, when we experienced it on Symphony, the guy was playing Sweet Caroline. So so that was with everybody crowded into the elevator. Ba, 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 cool. that was cool. So Utopia, you talked about the destination elevators. Did that become an issue when folks are peeling out of shows and stuff like that?
Not really, man. Like I said, there was a few times where I had to wait, but it really wasn't that bad. Even on days where you had port days, it really was not that bad coming back in to be able to grab an elevator. We're talking some of the biggest elevators I've been in all the years of cruising. So these elevators, man, when they tell you they could hold 20, you get a good 15 people in that elevator and still have some space and be comfortable. So definitely decent sized elevators. Didn't really have to wait too long. I do enjoy the fact that they have an escalator that takes you up a level when you get back on the ship. Like, that's cool. I don't got to walk up steps. And it's an escalator on a cruise ship. Awesome. I've seen them before, but they've only been where crew can access them, usually in the dining room, right? But that's another cool little thing I liked. But didn't have to wait that long.
So this was your first time sailing with Royal?
First Royal
first
Caribbean
time.
Cruise.
That's case of beer, by the way. First time's always case of beer.
And it's pretty cool because Royal's got that new loyalty program, right? So I technically have points with Celebrity.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So the food, we were not disappointed with any of the meals that we had when we sailed with Royal. What did you think about the food?
Food was great. Some of the best I've had. My favorite spot was the Doghouse on the boardwalk. I absolutely loved the hot dogs they got going on there.
Yes.
I didn't ask them, but I'm pretty sure they make their own sauerkraut in-house because it's that nice, like, brown, beer-soaked sauerkraut. So every day I'd be like, where am I going to eat today? And I try and figure out what I was going to do for, like, lunch or whatever, like a snack. I always ended up at the hot dog place. It was always the hot dog place, man. So I enjoyed the food. They did a spread, man. They had both sailings I was on. They had a full spread in the Windjammer for the inaugural.
Windjammer is
for the very embarkation day, should I say? So they had lobster, they had crab legs, shrimp cocktail. They had big old carved out blocks of ice shaped like boats, man, just full of shrimp. So you had this big old seafood sprawl. But they did it on the sailing after mine and then the sailing after that too. So I don't know if this is going to be like inaugural season type thing they're doing. If Michael Bailey is like, hey, we're going to seafood it out for the whole year. But there was seafood after my 2 sailings, and up to last week, they had a big old seafood spread, man, for embarkation day in the Windjammer. So that was cool because we did the back-to-back. So after the back-to-back, I got to go to the Windjammer right away when the food was put out before everybody else got on the ship and all the lobster tails disappeared. So needless to say, the Naughty Cruiser just walked over to the buffet and just loaded a plate full of lobster tails and sat down.
Windjammer is amazing. And then their adults only area, you know, I don't know if, so I don't know Utopia that well, but do they still have the eating area in the solarium as well?
So they have a dining venue just outside the solarium that looks into the solarium.
Yes.
But the solarium, that's really nice, man. That was nice and enjoyable. Hot in there, but from what I gather, there's air condition that they're going to pump into it, unlike the other solariums that were open aired. I just didn't experience any of that when I was on there.
It's been a problem for the ships that have that type of window design on them. So the Symphony had a little bit different design, and you were getting air from the forward part of the ship, and it was tolerable. It wasn't bad. Still got a little humid.
Right. I know a lot of people like the layout of this new solarium because those whirlpools that were outside the solarium before are now inside the solarium. So that cuts down on the kids getting in there and all that stuff. But it's a huge solarium, man. Like, I mean, there's tons of space in there. 2 bars, 1 bar that's stationary and 1 that looked like it's a mobile bar. But ton of space in there. So definitely can enjoy, have a couple drinks, lay out, lounge out, enjoy the whirlpools, things like that, man.
The other thing, so it's first time you've ever experienced Coco Cay.
Yeah. First time at Coco Cay or Coco Cay, whatever. Perfect day at Coco Cay.
Whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely. It's perfect day at Coco Cay, right? Like I do this whole thing because we got so many different cruise lines calling islands different things. So you got Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and now you got Celebration Key coming up, but they're spelled 2 different ways. It is what it is. All I know is it's a great island in the middle of the Bahamas, and MSC's private island used to be my favorite private island until I went to Perfect Day. Like, Perfect Day blows every private island out of the water. The only thing I don't like about it is they nickel and dime for everything. And that goes back to like what I was saying earlier, right? Like, cruise lines charge for each additional thing. And at the private island, it's the same way. If you want to do the water park, it's an additional charge. You want to do the adults only, it's an additional charge. Did my camera come unplugged? Yeah.
We don't see your beautiful face. There you are.
That's weird. That's weird. I wonder why my camera came unplugged. It should be my Pocket 3. Hold up, my brother. Hold up. Can't be my battery. That's weird.
I mean, audio's good.
Yeah, I know the audio's good, but my camera disconnected and it went to the webcam of the computer instead of the Pocket.
Hey,
there we go.
That's looking like it was before.
That's
so just give us a rundown, man. You know, it's kind of the same way you did on Margaritaville at Sea from, just highlights. I mean, there's a lot. This ship is huge, man. I know you won't hit everything, but
so it's a great ship. I love the parade that they do. I'm not a real big fan of the balloon drop. They do that late at night. But the parade they do, the superheroes parade, that's pretty cool. The food was good across the whole ship. I really got no complaints other than Sorrento's is trash. I said it. You can fight me in the comments. I really don't care. Sorrento's was trash pizza. I'm from up north, so our pizza's got some bounce to the dough. Sorrento's is that cracker crust. So if you like that cracker crust style pizza from like Ohio, St. Louis, and all that stuff, then it's for you. It's really not my thing.
Did you hit Playmakers?
I did hit Playmakers. I didn't eat in Playmakers. I sat down and played Pac-Man for a couple hours.
Playmakers, baby. That's where it's at.
But it's an additional charge. So I was trying to do everything that was included so I could make a bunch of different content for included food options. Favorite part of the ship was Central Park. I absolutely loved the neighborhood. Whether it was Central Park or the boardwalk, I love spending time in the neighborhoods. But Central Park was my favorite. I loved being able to listen to the crickets at nighttime that they pipe in and the birds during the day. It was a great place to just sit and chill and people watch. I love how things on Royal are free that would cost money on other cruise lines. So like Flow Rider is not an additional charge, which is a great thing. There's no weight limit. So big guys like me pushing 350 can go and do a Flow Rider. I don't know if I would suggest it. You might break an arm, break an egg, break a hip. You might break something, but I'm all for it, right? It's no additional charge. I love how the Great Abyss is no additional charge. I love how the zip lining is no additional charge. So I like to be able to include a lot of things, right? They do include a lot of things on the ship. Definitely a lot of good areas on the ship for the kids to hang out and chill and play while the parents are having fun. Crazy Quest does get crazy. We're not even going to touch base on that. Man. That was some insane moments at Crazy Quest. Let's just say your boy Mike was Queen Utopia, named Tracy, whose baby daddy paid all her bills. It was nuts, man. But I enjoyed it, dude. I enjoyed the entertainment. Yeah. I know they got a little bit of heat for changing the casino layout around a little bit. You only have one way in and out of the casino through that hallway. I know a lot of people like having that double hallway that came out by the ice skating and all of that stuff by Studio B. Now you only have one hallway that takes you through. I loved Utopia Railroad. Man, that was one of the best dining options I've ever done. Entertainment is top notch, best entertainment at sea, whether it's the Aqua Show or the ice skating performance in Studio B. Crazy Quest, music entertainment. The Country Crew Trio was on board, so Brian James was on board the ship singing his jams and having a good time. But it was it, man. It was a great time, a great experience. I absolutely understand why people become loyal to Royal, and I get it, man. And Royal wants me back, man. They sent me 2 casino offers already, so I'm like, all right, what do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah,
let me show me the dotted line you need my signature on. I'm ready to board the ship. Let's go.
You know us, man. We love a good bar, and one of the things that looked really cool was the Pesky Parrot.
Pesky Parrot, yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That
Best
place
bar on the
looks
ship,
awesome.
dude. Best bar on the ship, bro.
You know, and I don't know about your experience, but when we were on there, some of the best bartenders that you'll ever they'll come up and it's like, hey, man, just make me the drink that you like to make, and they'll make you some of the coolest drinks that you've ever had. I don't know if you had that same experience, but Royal's bartenders are great.
Some of the greatest, man. Some of the greatest. I enjoyed getting drinks in what's the name of it? The Mason Jar.
The Mason Jar. Yeah, that's the southern.
I was literally just telling you.
Area.
Yeah, I was literally just telling you about Brian James and the Country Crew Trio, and I forget the name of the bar. But I enjoyed getting drinks in the Mason Jar because I'm a big whiskey mule guy, right? Like I'm a big whiskey and ginger beer type dude. And a lot of places don't make the mule with ginger beer. They usually make it with ginger ale. So when I saw on the menu that they made it with ginger beer, I absolutely fell in love with it. And every day I ordered it once. And every day that I would go in there and listen to the play, the bartender would be like, Mr. Mike, whiskey mule. I'm like, let's go. Bring it, man. Bring it on. And every day it was like a little bit stronger than the last day.
Yeah, that's awesome. The shows. So, what type of shows? So on the symphony there was Hairspray, Flight. What kind of unique shows? Obviously, their water show is second to none.
Oh yeah, that Aqua Show, bro. That was next level, man. In my brain was going so many ways. Like, God, what if they forget to open up the floor? Oh man, it was crazy, bro.
A lot of trust.
A lot.
The time we watched it, I was like, "There's no way they're going to do this," because the ship was rocking a little bit. They still got out there and did it.
Yep, they still did it. But yeah, the Aqua Show was great. Aqua 82, that was awesome. But the playlist, the show in the main theater was like a playlist production show.
Yeah,
it wasn't like your typical Broadway show like Hairspray or anything like that. Had a large cast. I'm talking 30 plus people in this performance, but they incorporated drones and all that stuff. So it's a new concept, man. And it was definitely worth it. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. So if you like those music style Broadway shows where they do a lot of singing, it's definitely the show to attend. I tried to hit all different venues. So
Was
I
that the
did
Rock Hall?
Studio B. No, that was it was in the theater. It was in the main theater.
Okay.
I forget the name of the show. If Brian and Julie are still here, they might know the name, so they could drop it in the comments over there. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was a good show. They incorporated drones, incorporated lasers. So back in the day, man, in the 70s, that would have been a great little show to have to just hang out and watch, right? So
yeah, it's like, hey man, give me some Pink Floyd and let's get after it.
That's it, man. And it was good, right? So like I did every show possible that I could. I did that. I did, live music shows. I did the ice skating show. That was awesome. Jordan did a phenomenal job as always. And it's crazy too, because like certain people I've been following for a while. I've literally seen on the ship doing performances. I've seen Jordan with the ice skating, Brian James with the music. I finally seen him perform. So it was cool to be able to check those things out, man. But it's just entertainment is just 100% hands down the best with Royal Caribbean.
Did you hit the lime and the coconut?
I hit the lime and the coconut. I like the way it's laid out. A lot of people are saying they like the way it's laid out. Instead of 2 bars, it's now 1 big bar. So, and it's cool too, right? Because like I got to experience things that a lot of avid Royal cruisers got to experience now too, because they've made changes from old ships to the new ship. So like the lime and the coconut, people are saying it's 2 bars. Well, now it's 1 big bar. So it's cool to be able to see things like that. What else did I get to enjoy, man? There's so much stuff in that ship.
I was looking at and it's the little things, right? So one of the things that was not so great, and this is kind of nitpicky about the Jubilee, was it was just a plain Jane mini golf. It looks like they actually did. And even on some of the Oasis class ships, it was just plain Jane with Royal. This looks very well themed with some octopi and
octopuses
and all those things.
and fish and starfish and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I walked through and I was like, look, there's Patrick Star, there's Squidward, Just Mission SpongeBob. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. But who else did something really good like that is like Margaritaville at Sea. Like they incorporated an awesome putt-putt course, dude. They got planes, they got a big old cheeseburger, they got a Margaritaville blender with the margarita coming out the top. They did a bang-up job. But they also did on the Margaritaville ship, man. They also did like a cornhole game.
Oh wow, yeah, that's cool.
Instead of just putt, you go around the different sections playing cornhole.
Me and Kurt, right on the Glory. I mean, we had that walk-off win in cornhole.
Yeah, was that cornhole or beer pong these guys had?
Wait a minute, you're right. We tried to sign up for cornhole and we couldn't.
Yeah.
It was the beer pong. We had the walk-off fadeaway. Poof.
Yeah. We'll hit him with a little jiggly at the end. But it's good, man. Like, I enjoyed it, dude. Like I said, I would definitely do both ships again. I definitely understand why people are loyal to Royal. And I'm stoked to get back on another Royal Caribbean ship. They sent me another mailer today, and I'm like, man, I need to get back on. I hit Prime, which is a good thing. So if you're a gambler, that hitting Prime is a big thing with Royal. If you're not familiar with it, I suggest you hit Prime, 2,500 points, get you free drinks in the casino every cruise you go on for the next year, and it also gets you a free cruise within that year. But if you go to the casino host desk, they'll have a QR code for you to scan that'll show you how many points you need to get a comp cruise.
That's awesome.
So that's a cool little thing to check out too when you're there. Scan that QR code, figure out how many points you want to earn, and get yourself that free cruise.
And they have some good deals. I mean, with kids selling free and all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't know, both Mike and I are travel agents. So feel free to hit us up. We don't get after it like most of these folks, but we do happen to dabble.
No, I'll book anybody. You can find the email in the description of my video. Or if you're watching through my stream, you'll find the email in the description.
And we've got so we've done Carnival this year. We're not going to hit an MSC cruise, believe it or not, this year, but we do have a couple of Royal cruises coming up in November ourselves. So we're going to hit the Independence and the Allure. So I mean, we like Royal as well. And on some of those, the Oasis class ships are amazing. And because of these new ships coming out, you can get on an Oasis class ship pretty doggone cheap now.
Yeah, and it's the great thing, right? Like a lot of people are like, "Oh man, it's expensive," and I'm like, "Man, the more new ships they have coming out, the lower prices get." Like that's
Yeah.
like same thing with Disney, right? Like a lot of people don't want to cruise Disney because of the cost. Well, if don't cruise the newer Disney ship, you can cruise the one that's 2 years old and pay less money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, Royal has a
it's not
very
the
new
same,
fleet.
but
Yeah, you know, a lot of they don't have very many ships that are over 10 or 15 years old sailing. I don't know if they have any that are
yeah,
that I'm tracking.
I
I'll
can't
tell you,
tell you, bro. Only one I know about is
I don't think they
Utopia,
do.
and
Yeah,
I'm working on getting on Icon. That's the goal, man. I
yeah.
want to get on Icon.
I mean, Brian and Julie are our people, man. They know Royal in and out. But
yeah, and that's what Brian kept asking me when we were on there. He's like, what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, man.
it's great. I mean, it's great, you know. But like at the same time, I can cruise so many more times if I go cruise.
If you go somewhere else, right? And it's
Yeah,
tough, right?
yeah,
It's you got to play devil's advocate when it comes down to certain things.
yeah,
It's just like everything else in life. If we go to a car dealership and they got a Jeep with 100,000 miles for $5,000, or we go to a car dealership down the road that's got a Jeep with 100,000 miles, but it's 10 grand, but it has all these add-ons to it.
yeah.
I mean, you get what you pay for, right? So the whole aspect behind it is if you're not loyal to a specific brand and you want to branch out, I suggest trying all different cruise lines.
Yeah,
I
for
know,
sure.
I know for a fact there's people that watch my videos, watch your videos, or listen to this podcast that go, I can't believe they're talking about Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean? We don't sell Royal Caribbean. We sell Silver Seas, Cunard. Our cabins are $10,000 each per person. We won't pay that price. What are we, peasants? Listen, not everybody's good. But
Yeah,
if you got a little extra coin and you want to try something different, I suggest trying a different brand. I used to
for
be
sure.
that loyal to one brand. It used to be Princess Cruise Lines. That's the only brand I cruised until 2021, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
2021, all I said was Princess. Now I'm spreading the love seed all over the ocean, baby.
Well, you know that's us, man. We've never. I mean, I guess we have sailed Carnival more than any other cruise line, and a lot of people think that we are just like over the moon with MSC, and we have had great experiences with MSC. I'll sell them in a heartbeat, but there's not a single cruise line that I wouldn't jump on.
Oh yeah,
I have had zero bad experiences with any cruise line.
Right. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Josh. As long as you go into things with an open mind and your expectations set and you control the outcome of how it goes, you will have a great experience regardless of the cruise line, regardless of the age of the ship, regardless of things like that. You are the one in control of all of it. And the more people go into it relaxing and enjoying themselves, the better off you will be.
And that's true with anything, not just cruising. I mean, you go to Disney World, you know, if you go in there like, I'm going to ride every single ride in this park, and if I don't ride every single ride in this park, I'm going to go away mad. Like, you're going to get mad. You're going to get mad. Enjoy the park, enjoy the experience, and, you know, go ahead and plan on an additional trip.
That's it.
But I mean, yeah, man. So I appreciate the rundown. Check out all of Mike's vlogs. He's got a ton of vlogs out there. He gets them out a lot quicker than Chas and I do. But you know, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
I'm slow rolling, man. I'm trying to.
Oh, you're doing better than we are, though.
Because I ain't got nothing until October at this point. So
yeah.
But you know that don't matter. We can.
I mean, I got the list, man. Like, so this is the list that me and Chastity made, and you know, we got a lot that we still got to get done. So, you know, I'm still working on stuff from the MSC Seascape. I think we got everything out from Glory that we were going to do, but yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff we still got to get out, and more coming. So, you know, working on the Nassau cruise port video right now, just because it's low hanging fruit, trying to get that out. Try to do something that's difficult and then do something that's easy, just to try and get like 3 out a month.
Get some good stuff out.
Yeah, but I don't like to rush stuff either, you know. So we like to put stuff out that's quality and good.
Yeah, I don't want to rush it, man, because I want things to I just want them out in the universe, and I want them to grow, and I want them to flourish and get their full potential. I'd hate them to knock out a good video with something that's not as good, but I got them coming out, man.
Get something from it, right? Yeah, I mean, and if it's not where somebody can get something out of it, then what's the use in even putting it out there?
For sure.
If it only gets 500 views, but those 500 people got something out of it, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah. So, all right, man. So what do you got coming up here in, so in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have another podcast.
So let's see. The only travel I got coming up in the near future is school clothes shopping this weekend. I
That's
got
an adventure.
a little short trip in Miami in September. We're going to go to we're going to stay in Miami for a night, even though I was just telling y'all to book a cruise. But there's a reason I'm staying in Miami. We're going to go to 2 baseball games down there. The Phillies are in town taking on the Marlins. And it's my daughter's birthday weekend. So we're going to go down to Miami for her birthday, go to the Phillies
that
games
park's
for
amazing.
the weekend. Yeah, we enjoy it. We try to hit that park every year because it's like the most cost effective. We can go watch them play at Tampa Bay, but it's like $80 a ticket. In Miami, I can go to 2 games for less than $100 and get 10 seats. So I can't really argue with it. So I got that in September. I'm going to turn that into like a little mini vlog series. And then October, we have the Southern Caribbean on the Carnival Magic out of Miami as well.
It's a solid ship.
It's a good ship. I can't wait to get on. It'll be the first time I get on it. Turning that into a little adventure, going down the day before, going to hit the Keys for the 24 hours in the Keys, and then come on back up, stay in Florida City for the night, and then board the Magic on a Saturday. And then other than that, nothing else until April of 2025 at the moment.
What you got in April 2025?
MSC.
Yeah, baby. World America.
World America.
Yeah. The powers unite again. Moonlight Adventures.
Let's go. Moonlight
and
Adventures, the Nauti Cruiser, See Me Travel.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people going on that, man. There's a lot of people booked on that.
It's going to be
I know we were trying to do that group cruise in February out of Norfolk, but I don't think that's going to work. So
nah, it's that we were promoting that for a little bit, but it's just like, I don't know, man.
Life gets in the way, bro. Like, you know me, dude. I check up on you. I call you, shoot you a text. Hey, bro, how's it going? How's life? Everything good? Y'all
we're getting there. We're both getting healthier. Yeah, I've started doing some jiu-jitsu and Chastity. We've started workout plans together, and
I've started walking. That's pretty much it.
That's where you got to start.
I've been eating better and walking. Man, I'm disappointed in myself, bro, because 2021, I was down 280 pounds, bro. I was doing really good on the whole weight loss thing, and then I started this cruising channel, and I've been cruising a lot more and eating a lot.
It's hard to stay on it when you're cruising, man.
The weights are coming back, so
yeah, Chastity and I are like, what are we going to do on the Princess Cruise? That many days at sea, we're going to have to get after the gym. We're going to have to.
Yeah, man, that's great, bro. You got to get them curry dogs, though, dude. I'm telling you, them curry dogs.
Well, and we're gonna live it up when we're in London too. So high tea and all of that. Get some Indian food because the best Indian food in the world is in London.
In London, man. That's it.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nuts, man. That the best chicken marsala you can get is in London. It's not even fish and chips as the national dish. Chicken marsala is the national dish.
I was disappointed with the fish and chips, man.
But it shows you the diversity, right? Well, here's the thing: you've never cruised out of London, right?
No, this is
you've
first
never
time.
Cruised out of England, so you're cruising out of Southampton or Dover?
Southampton, yeah.
So there's a great little place. I'll have to get the name of it, man. It's right down the street from the terminal. It's right by my hotel.
Yeah.
I stayed at the Marriott that's there, and there's this great little spot that does fish and chips, bro. When they come out, I'm talking like a big old slab of fish like this.
Big cod.
Best fish and chips I've ever had in my life. Shout out Larry Thomas if you're listening. He's the one that put me onto the joint. He went there a couple years ago, and he's like, "You got to try this place when you're there." And man, I'm not disappointed. When I eat fish and chips here, I still think about that fish and chips over there.
It's an amazing itinerary, and we'll talk about it on the next podcast. But Southampton, Portsmouth, Lisbon, and Canary Islands.
Nice. So, Tenerife.
Yeah, yep, Tenerife,
Las Palmas. Nice, man. It's gonna be a great time. Y'all are gonna enjoy that.
9 sea days.
9 glorious.
We love our sea days, man.
9 glorious sea days. That's gonna be the best. We definitely got to get that podcast on the books, bro. So we'll talk after this one, and we'll
for sure.
Because
hey,
I got some good tips for y'all on that one, especially on them places to eat before y'all head over this way.
We appreciate each and every one of you guys hanging in there with us. This will be up on Spotify within the next couple of weeks. Make sure you go over and follow us on the Spotify. At some point, we've talked about this. We'd like to get some peer-to-peer travel chats swag out there. We don't have a store just yet, but you know, that's I'm gonna let Nauti take care of that if he wants. But if not,
let's go. We'll get
whatever.
some stuff going.
We'll get it.
I'll work on some designs this weekend. Y'all just make sure whoever's channel y'all are watching this on, y'all do us a solid and smash that like button on your way out the door.
Both ways, man. Both ways. And then, I mean, I'm just looking at our peer-to-peer logo, and I'm like, man, that would look good on a hat.
Yes,
that
sir.
would look outstanding.
A hat, a fanny pack, a shirt, a hoodie, whatever.
Heck yeah, man.
We put on anything you want it on. You let me know.
All right, guys, we are out.